Welcome back to the tomb of EL-lumination, another video debunking the final experiment. And Will Duffy and all his mates like Toon and that guy Kraken, you know, and all those guys, we know who they are. Pretty thick bunch. Or they're either thick or they're well funded and telling lies. Flat earthers aren't funded. We can only tell the truth via logic, common sense, visual observations. No, there's no bullshit that's just all written and regurgitated. No, so today's another video, and we're going to talk about the shape of the Earth and the size. Okay. Now they tell us they've debunked the Gleason map, so this is just a little bit added to the previous video I just did. So it's understanding the expansion of our realm, expanding out from the centre north to the south. And this is all revealed in the holographic universe. The CIA papers have been released. Even they know all about this. So you can understand that we all expand in the field as we move south. Okay, it's expansion and contraction. And this is how we get the tropical year. Expansion and contraction. The field contracts in and then comes back out again. That's the tropical year, where the southern hemisphere contracts up into the north. It's governed by the ecliptic plane, actually. That's down and out, southern summer, all the way around, and then comes up and in for the northern summer. Now, understanding this expansion equidistantly per latitude as it expands, we come to this conclusion here. It's like this, right? Expanding out from the Arctic centre to the Antarctic. Well, what's the centre going to represent? The centre will represent the diameter or the circumference of the Earth. It's the halfway point. So you take this bit out, that bit out, put it over here and there. Well, it's 50-50. That's the size diameter of our realm. That's how we get the circumference of our Earth. You don't live on a ball. You live within a hemisphere. There's a hemisphere for the south and there's a hemisphere for the north. They're completely separated by the tropical gap. So you're either in the southern hemisphere or you're in the northern hemisphere. You can say you're in the tropical gap here if you want. It's in here. But every man has his own hemisphere. He stands 90 degrees to the zenith of his arc of horizon. We know this in celestial navigation, or everything comes back to the observer. It's all equidistantly plastered on here, all the stars. And this is how you get your readings. Then you work out your measurements using nautical miles, just like how we get the measurement of Earth. Your arc of horizon, you don't have to leave home. You don't have to go and buy a boat and sail the world. 180 degrees times 60 nautical miles comes to 10,800 nautical miles. Well, there's two hemispheres. Times it by 2, you got 21,600 nautical miles in circumference at the line of the equator. Okay, simple. So halfway is 5,400 nautical miles from the Arctic to the equator. They tell us this, or 10,000 kilometers, or 6,214 statutory miles. All the same. So you need to understand these are flat earthers. Get to understand all this. Our flat earth is governed by our hemisphere, or you could say the meridian, the Earth's meridian from the Arctic out to the south is a meridian. There's one on this side of the Earth. There's the other one on that side of the Earth. So you could say there's two hemispheres there. they put them together and tell you live on the outside of it. When in reality, you're just here. You're inside this realm. There's you. Okay? That's how you get the dimensions of our Earth. Here we go, 90 degrees times your statute miles, 69 statute miles, you come up with your 10,000 kilometres or your 5,400 nautical miles. You get your radius by doing, you should know that by now, radius is 6/210. That's your radius there. Working on this, if everything's expanding equidistantly, so A to B go halfway, which is the equator, will even out and be the circumference of our pancake. There it comes to 39,000 or thereabouts, close enough to 40,000 Ks. Now there's a difference, which I have got in this video. There's a slight difference. Oh, here we go. Why is there discrepancy between 39 and 40? We'll talk about that in another video. Now, a magnetic field. I talked about this in an earlier video, and someone put a silly comment, said, that's not how a magnetic field works in nature. Really, if it doesn't work like that in nature, why does the sun in a lemon look like that? No, it does work in nature because that's a magnetic cycle. Magnetic cycle is the sun travelling in a tropical year into the north and out again. But these magnetic cycles are infinite, meaning everyone's on a meridian line north to south, so everyone will get their own image. If they took a photo every day at the same time, no matter where they are around the earth, they'll get their sun in a lemma. The shape, this is the phi ratio. A magnetic field is a phi ratio. See, no one's ever discussed this before. This is Nobel Prize worthy information here, but I get no recognition because I've discovered all this through the flat earth system, and you're not allowed to do that. So you got the southern hemisphere there, the bigger, wider expanded field, shrinking back into the north. And look up and we see signs, and that's what we see. We see the sun's in a lemma because it's shrinking away to the north. That's why it looks like this figure 8 with the smaller northern hemisphere. There's the dielectric zone. And they say this, so you've got a, this is the checkerboard in Freemasonry, you see. You get positive, negative, okay? And this clown says that doesn't happen in nature. And so this is what happens with the magnetic field. They're always like that, okay? Because look, they're repelling, okay? Because either or, let's say south, north pole, south pole. This is what all magnetic cycles are. It's returning back and coming back over and back again. So here's a different magnet, totally different. This little cheapy thing here, look, it's an attraction. Why is it an attraction? So there's the end of it, right? There's it. Oh, they're attracted. Okay, so what if I turn it over and go like this? Oh, it's not attracting. Why is it not attracting? Okay, it's pretty basic. You've all been conned. No one's taught this at school. No one's told you there's a phi ratio. Phi ratio. And a 5 sounds like phi when it's 3 to 2. Close enough, not quite. Okay? But phi ratio. There's your sine wave. The sine wave. Da 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 da. It's uneven. But not all the time. Because of this contraction and expansion, and the difference, potential difference in the whole system, and that is the cogs of the south don't always match or mesh with the cogs of the north, because this is moving around this way, and this northern system is moving around that way, and they're out of sync most of the year at various stages. But there's one time of the year when they're all in sync, and only Lindsay Harris knows all about that, and that's all over at my Patreon page. Only my followers understand this. So if you want to understand more of this, you'd have to go to my Patreon, where I earn a few dollars. And out here in the world of YouTube, I don't earn a penny. So that's it. If you're interested in understanding the truth, it's all on my channel. No one else explains it like I do, or breaks it all down, the physics of the earth. 2,600 nautical miles is the circumference of the earth, 40,000 kilometers, always at the equator. Understanding this, 50-50, okay? Expansion out to Antarctica, Arctic. Well, you take off that bit there, take off that bit there, put it over here, and we're now equal, okay? But similar setup to this 3:2 phi ratio here. There's always this difference involved. Understanding the two hemispheres. You don't live on the outside of a ball just because they told you. You don't see anything disappear over the horizon just because you think, or you do, you think there's something disappearing over the horizon bottom up. But if that surface had a ceiling above it and the boat was on the ceiling, would the boat disappear? No, you'd still be seeing the boat till it shrunk in distance, and then you get a globe. You say, well, the ceiling's not curved, is it? No, but if you put the flat surface, flipped it, put it on the ground, the boat would disappear again. So what's happened? Is the flat ceiling curved all of a sudden? No, people don't think. No, it's just your arc of horizon. It's gone out of your horizon. It's not relative to your horizon anymore. This is why you can break horizon down, or horizon, down to eyes on, in reference to your eyes. Your eyeballs are making a lot of people think they live on the outside of a ball, or rise on. Rise on. The celestial bodies are all rising on and over this horizon. And it's all relative to the eyeball, the human, relative to the man, but it's connected to his eyeballs. There's an Egyptian hieroglyph, a relief, and it's showing you this, but no one can grasp it. No one can grasp it. It's an image like this, and the eyeball, you know, you've drawn it like this, and it's recessed in, so like it's a sort of a channel around here, and then there's sort of images on here creating the globe or the hemisphere or whatever. But that's what creates this hemisphere. Your eyes can only see so far. All the celestial bodies, you could say, when they come into your horizon, are basically plastered on your eyeballs, because your pupil is tuned to the frequency of the black hole. Okay? Just remember, Earth is from the whole as the created realm. We are not the creator. The creator's up there. All the celestial bodies are from the creator. So how can Earth, which is the created, now be up there with the creator and shadow the moon? Check out my earlier video. People are bonkers. Purely bonkers. Okay, there's your magnetic field, the phi ratio, the sine wave. It's, look, offset. There's only one time of the year where it is balanced, equal. Only Lindsay Harris knows about that. Check out my earlier videos. Don't forget to put a thumbs up if you like it. But the main thing is to share it to people who are ignorant and don't know anything. They just go along with it and regurgitate the BS. Okay? Remember my name. Your grandchildren will certainly know about it because they're not going to be so dumb. they're going to be woken up very shortly. Okay? Good to see you again. Bye.